All right, traders, we're back. It's a Sunday afternoon. I last checked a Friday night. I took Saturday off. I've taken the last two Saturdays off. I don't necessarily see a reason to trade Saturday, especially if I'm um, check Friday night. And I've been having a pretty great month. Not perfect by any means. Not at all perfect. Really the last 2 months, aside from 1 week, have been really good. And the last month, I think, has been my best month as far as habits go. And if I just keep with the good habits, good things will happen. It's also pretty sustainable with the other things that I'm doing. It's not taking so much time. So I did have a couple shorts, and I also had limit longs on Bitcoin and BNB. So let's go ahead and see what happened. Go check it out. Okay, so Bitcoin is just continuing higher without me, which is it is what it is. Um, Alts haven't really moved. I guess they've moved a little bit against me. And yeah, Bitcoin just grinding higher. Maybe it's gonna launch from here. We go all the way back here. I'm not here to cry over spilt milk. I'm here to just be where I need to be. So one of the things I want to do is, again, avoiding um, limit orders. Sorry, avoiding market orders as much as possible for lifestyle reasons. Where was it? Yeah, this one in this area, I missed it by $20. I think it's $70, and it's moved $10,000 up from there. And what that taught me is not to market, but maybe use larger zones on my limits. And also maybe to use um, trade other things. I mean, I did get in BNB, which was good, but maybe had opportunity to re-enter that didn't take. Yeah, it's just drifting higher. What I can see in the chart, right, we're gonna go into the hood, but this is what it looks like when people are chasing at the market. It's just not pulling back and continuing higher, right? So if we look at Arkham, we'll have to go under the hood to see, but yeah, I'm still sitting in these. Um, okay, let's just go ahead and go through. Gold has just been on a monster tear. Silver as well. Stock market futures pushing new all-time highs. So let's get into it. Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance actually down big over the weekend. So what does that mean? I haven't looked at ETH. Doge is maybe shortable, so I'm gonna make a note of that. Got to be really careful shorting anything here, but um, yeah, I gotta keep it in mind. ETH dominance is why. Okay, so Solana is pushing higher. Now I could take some longs on MTP, which would be here. I would buy here with a wide stop on Solana, and I could do that, and I might do that. My stops would be super wide though. Last time I did it was up here, and we ended up rejecting. But I'm gonna consider that. I can mark it in certain scenarios. Okay, ETH though. Mm, so ETH had a nice spurt. Oh, hang on. Um, yeah, I'm a seller of ETH a bit higher. Where? Up here. So over the weekend, interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Total's giving a long signal. We're above the 200 EMA and we've closed above both of these monthly highs. Others is the only one under the EMA. In this environment, it might make sense to not even trade shorts at all anymore, or be very selective in them. Reason being, I want to see what's going on under the hood, but reason being that the shorts work a lot better with the computer back testing. Showed they're a lot better under the SMA. Otherwise, you're just shorting breakouts in an uptrending market, which I want to avoid doing. Pepe, Sheeb. The market's consistently been showing it's really hot, and um, yeah, I don't love aping in at the highs. Sometimes it's correct, but it hasn't been like we don't really see insanity. Okay, I'm interested in this one, seeing what's going on here. Okay. I'm looking for interactions at the highs and the lows. You see both file and high look really similar. MX. We're only an hour into the new day, so the newest daily candle doesn't really mean anything. Okay, SC is interesting. So there's a couple. I procrastinated being a buyer on Bitcoin with my market timing pro system, which is probably a mistake because it shows so much edge. Um, and it's a hedge in the case that we do not have any pullback too. At okay, 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 that's it. All right. Yeah, whatever happens, happens. It's all good, baby. But right now we're seeing volatility come in, new local highs. I still would prefer to come in on a pullback, but just chasing this bitch higher and higher. Boom. Just hasn't really moved very much. Let's go ahead and get under the hood, see what's going on. I'm going to start with the three majors. Again, I'm not here to complain about what happened or beat myself up that I could have been doing it better. It's been a pretty great month, and if I just stick patience, good time, and stay busy. So the first thing I notice when I come in is the funding is the hottest I've seen in a very long time on Bitcoin and across the market in general. That doesn't mean it can't go higher, right? It hasn't stopped it. But if we look at the 8 hour on Bitcoin, again, it's really high. People have a lot of leverage. And it doesn't mean we can't have a long-term uptrend, but my strategy is to counter trade the leverage traders, or at least I don't need to counter trade by going short on Bitcoin, but I would like to wait until there's a flush, a force of price moving down, and then trade. Where with ETH, yeah, and BNB, according to this chart, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look. Um, what I've realized about BNB is I think people do cash and carry with BNB, and that's why it looks the way it does. I'm gonna Google, is this a thing that people are doing? No, okay. Not getting information about that, but I suspect it. Okay, we're gonna start with Bitcoin. So a couple things I noticed. One, yo, Spot is buying. Spot came in and started buying at the open here. That said, we also have futures is also buying. And there is something positive for the bullish case in that actually price made a new high without open interest making a new high. That said, though, we're at an all-time high for open interest at over 21 billion, where we were at 18 at the low, 17.7 down here, 16 billion on this low. So we're talking $5 billion of longs. That's a lot. Okay, and also what we're noticing is, look how high this funding rate has gotten. I'm gonna go to the daily so we can put it in perspective here. Well, well, it's not nearly as hot as it was at this major top. So maybe I don't need to be as concerned, but especially if Spot's coming in, it can support it. We look here though, and we see up in here, funding got super positive, flushed out, and that's where an awesome run happened, right? So I want to stay with the plan of waiting for pullbacks. I can, I could take small positions based on these breakouts. However, I could consider doing that. And I think I might. MTP longs. Like, what's the point of having this back-tested system if I'm never going to trade it, right? It's kind of silly. Yeah, just choppy chop higher and higher. I don't really want to be a buyer at the high though. It's just not how I roll. I tried to buy at the low. I wanted to buy at the low. Hasn't played out that way. We are seeing things such as, okay, BNB so far failing at a local high. ETH not failing, but reacting at this old monthly high. Bitcoin reacting at an old monthly high. I would suspect we should get at least a pullback below the weekend's lows. Doge. It's just such a pretty dangerous place in the charts to want to be opening longs. And again, I'm not here to catch every move. Some of you say like FOMO in, whatever. I'm okay missing moves. It's okay, right? I'm here. I really want to not lose money, not just make money. And I understand I've traded long enough to know the market is dangerous, and it's especially when dangerous when people are euphoric. And it's dangerous in both ways because the euphoria can continue and price can continue up. And it's also it's dangerous to be short. It's dangerous to be long because people make foolish decisions. Okay, and then I also have two of my own to look at. So for ETH, what we're seeing, a couple things. Yeah, Spot continues to buy. It's really an interesting scenario where Spot is buying. Yes, Spot is supporting this price move. However, it's allowing a huge amount of leverage to come in. Where, for instance, this move up over the weekend here, when did this move happen on ETH? Let's go ahead and take a look. What's the timing here? This move that happened this morning at 4 a.m. on ETH saw open interest go from 9.2 billion to 9.75 billion. We're talking about $500 million of longs entering right here and coming to a place where conservative traders will take profit, right? What else? Okay, let's move on from ETH. Funding is, yes, funding is high. Let's see how high compared to past moves. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's locally high, but it's not, well, it's also suppressed by Ethena. It's suppressed by Ethena. Okay. I mean, everything in here looks like this bottom, and I'm expecting, yeah, so, I mean, what happened in this bottom is we did see open interest go from 3 to 6 billion. It was able to double and then climb. Yeah, I mean, it could happen again, where if we go back into this time period, which is the most similar, open interest was at 7 billion and went to 21 billion. Is crazy. Oh, price almost tripled as well. So, okay, let's look at Solana. Solana looks really hot. Solana's, it doesn't make me want to be an investor here. Again, it's really interesting where yes, Spot is supporting the move, but we also saw just in the past couple of days a 20% increase in open interest with funding very positive. What does that mean? Is that people are positioned very long. Same thing with BNB. BNB looks a little better to me because of the spot support, but I really don't like, I really dislike aping in here, especially after I've been patient here, 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 here. I do need to look at my couple alts, but I'm gonna stick with waiting for lower. Sorry, but I am. Although I am in the interest of, I know you guys want to see me ape in, but if I was to be a buyer on Solana, where would I want to do? I do it, want to do it. Is it possible price can come back under the October 17 price? That's the only like major low on this chart. I guess Bitcoin is that Tuesday, October 15 price. Yeah, okay. Anchor and Saga. So these are the couple shorts that I made. I also want to look. There was a couple that were interesting to me, right? Uh, SC was one. That was the only one actually. And Doge is also interesting, but okay. There might be more too that I'm gonna scout, but let's start with Anchor. No, Anchor's not one that I'm in, but Anchor looks good for a sell actually. I'm in Arkham, but it's not really sellable. The reason why it looks good is because we're seeing increase in open interest with spot going down, but that's not enough. I also want to see it um, do something else here. Wow, I like Arkham, seeing the funding rate so hot. It's also been relatively weak. It's interesting the funding rate is increasing with open interest isn't. What does that mean? Um, Spot selling, I don't know, shorts closing. But that looks okay to hold, continue to hold and see. Okay, yeah, very boring business model, right? Here we also see, okay, funding is hot, spot is continuing to sell. My thesis is not broken, so I kind of like staying with these two for now. Okay with it. Kind of curious where my portfolio is, if it's up or down from Friday night. Probably should be right about the same. Yeah, my portfolio hasn't moved in a while, really. Um, okay, so I want to look at Doge and SC. Both look super fucking dangerous because they're just ripping. It's such a dangerous market. I think I would like to do my market timing pro longs. It's gonna mean, I think my lifestyle aligns for it too. Bitcoin is pretty late. I was supposed to do it down here, $3,000 lower, and it's moved 3% from the entry. I would also do it on Solana. I'll take a look at it. Take a look at it. Okay, let's see. What's up the most? Ape? Oh yeah, DYDX is one. What the fuck? Ape's interesting. Right, this is another one. I feel like this deserves extra time. What's going on? ApeCoin news. All Alright, I have enough to look at. The user incentive program, let's see. Okay. I had Saga and Arkham. Let's look at ApeCoin and DYDX. These are two of the more interesting ones. Yo, that's crazy. Open interest went from 19 million to 160. It went 10x in the last day. Is crazy. So what we're seeing potentially is once again a trade where people buy ape spots so they reap the reward and then they sell it via perpetual futures so that they keep a net neutral position. Right. User incentive program. So Chili's is doing a similar thing. Why is it lagging? But I mean, I'm kind of interested. Okay, Chili's is a similar thing that I haven't been touching yet, and yeah, maybe it would be working. Okay. I don't know. Let me look on MEXC. I'm not down to sit in a uh funding's positive over here, so I could consider doing it. DYDX, why? What happened here? Yo, huge buying came in. DYDX. Yeah, same thing. I mean, it was DYDX is more tradable. What's going on with this one? Why? Okay. Buy conference. Okay. Well, if I want to be safe here, I can pay attention to it, but it's not a short. It hasn't failed. Same thing with ape. And ape's not really set up right. SC is the only one here that's actually shortable based on the market, and I'm not here to force anything. I do know that with Edge, longing Bitcoin and Solana today is probably okay. Although I'm super late. I'm late on Bitcoin is. Yeah, I was a little bit stubborn, but it's probably still okay. I will do it small and then still try to trade pullbacks, but considering it's over the MAs. Doge, again, we see a huge increase in open interest with spot selling off. To me, it's actually looks sellable, and it actually did close under over here. but it just looks like it's launching. And same thing with Bitcoin, where it is launching. And I'd rather um, sell something that's topped than something that I'm hoping will top. Where's Solana? Sol. StTIP.mxc. Wow. Okay, so if I were to do my market timing prolong, what would that look like? It's gonna look like ATR bands. Where's my favorite? Where's ATR bands? Here it is. So I would set my stop at the low at 0.34, which is a very wide stop. 0.34 on the, sorry, 3.4. Yeah. So my stop's all the way down here. It's just like super fucking wide. And it has no TP. Am I comfortable trading in this way? It would be the same thing with Bitcoin. That said, what I was, how it would have been, would have, could have, should have, would have been like this, with my stop all the way down here. I need to be careful about long exposure going the other way on me, but it's currently acting like a runaway market. The issue is how hot funding is. It's really tough, but it's not that hot historically. It's just hot locally, right? It's like it really spiked higher locally, but it could be much higher with price still going up. It's possible, right? It's like pretty hot, but it is pretty hot. So if I were to do this, it needs to be small and wide. But I also know that it has edge, irrespective of whatever's going on with the funding. Alternatively, right, so neither of these are tradable. I mean, if anything, actually Doge is along too, but doesn't look like along to me. These haven't been working. Yeah, they're above the MA, so I think it's safe to expect higher on some of these. And the market is changing as well, where it's like, all right, we're moving to an environment where insane moves can happen again. All right, let's look at the M2 money supply. M2 money supply, right? Okay, the money supply is now once again is climbing. Okay, the question is, if I am to do this, honestly, ETH's along too, based on this. and it's not too late for it either. So I kind of like the idea of having this here, but I think I may long Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. Bitcoin's the only one that's late. It's actually the day for BNB and ETH, and I know that funding is up quite a bit, but maybe that doesn't matter. So it would look like this. It's going to be a very small position. I think I would not have the short here. This is tough because I have different systems, and one of my systems is like I don't want to do this at all. It looks like insane chasing. But the other system is like, yeah, this has edge. Now, one of the reasons it has edge though is because the stop is super wide. Having only short exposure in this market does not feel right though. With, yeah, the funding was high with this one. Saga. I could also consider like trying for more of a pullback. Tough situation. I know that there's edge in trading this way. I know that. I feel resistance to doing it though, because it feels like chasing. We just have a breakout though on total. Am I comfortable running my stop super wide? I mean, there's alternatives too. What is the alternative? What's gonna be a big swing low later, like when price is much higher and we're in a downtrend, potentially. What would be the swing low that people look for? Honestly, over this consolidation, like this seems super unlikely now. For price to come back here. Really, yeah. Dude, I really don't want to long Solana with funding doing what it's doing. Like just spiking open interest, leverage absolutely mooning, but at the same time, my MTP system doesn't know or care about that, right? It just says, hey, there's edge. If you buy here, This is tough for me. I don't want to feel like I'm chasing, but am I okay trading this way? That's the question. Doge as well. The thing about trading this way means being willing to hold through a major drawdown with a wide stop. So it would need to be small positions, which is why I didn't want to take the Bitcoin one, because it's like, what's the point? It's going to be so small. Well, it's true, it would be small, but I feel like I just don't. Why don't I want to do it? I gotta talk to myself. Funding is so hot, and I don't want to buy. This should be the first breakout buy since when? Well, it's the first signal for a potential breakout buy. Everything's over the moving averages, right? Okay, well, I know that it is profitable, so I think I'm gonna do it, but I don't really like it, so I'm gonna do it small. There's a compromise. So let's start with ETH. There's gonna be no stop on this one. I can do this. I want enough risk to still have limit orders lower. So if I put my stop down here, my stop is 400 away. So I'm talking like 1 ETH, a really small position. Okay. Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna remove my lowest orders on Bitcoin. I'm also gonna remove my ETH short. Okay. So I'm gonna do this. I really hate it. I really don't like it, but I know it has edge. I just know what it might mean for the next week of the holding. I'm gonna take a break and walk around, come back. All right, I'm back. I talked to my investor, and here's the deal. Check it out. Um, I need to do a change of strategy because the market has changed. I kind of forgot because I've been doing these shorts, but look, the market's back above the moving averages, which means that I should not be short anymore. I shouldn't be running the short strategy. I should be trading breakouts, and we have a number of breakouts to trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my nose, and I'm going to be a buyer, and I'm going to run my stop super wide. I have so much resistance to it, I don't want to do it because it's a change. It's a change and it feels like chasing. But I know it works. And what I need to do if I'm going to do this. So for instance, let's This is where we need to go to. Um, I haven't done this in a while. Yeah, this session's taking me a while and kind of struggling, but we're gonna go to MTP beta. So this is my computer system. It's lagging. So let's go ahead and let's look at it. Okay. So we need to edit it. So look, we're gonna look at just the breakout buy. I need to look at the other one. Oh, interesting. Let's do this. Okay. Let's look at just the breakout buy. 15, 180. Eh, why is it not showing a new buy right there? Closed above. Is 15 not enough? Do I need to put it to 10 here? Is that why? Okay, let's try 3.2. I am for sure exercising patience, like I'm sitting here having done nothing. Okay. I want to be here all day. Doesn't need to be perfect, just needs to get done. But I'm looking at a potential significant change in strategy, which is tough. Okay, so let's look at the just a breakout buy. Closed above. Okay, right. So look, this is doing this breakout strategy over time. We're looking at 53% gain on 1.5% drawdown, 42 closed trades with the 53% net profit, 61% of trades are profitable. Profit factor is 11.3, and I'm not wanting to take this trade, right? It's kind of silly to not want to take this. Um, okay, order size. So 30, 40% of capital. It's at 100, yeah. Look, 7,900%, 61% profitable, 30% max drawdown. Yeah, might not work, but we have Bitcoin. And then we also have Solana. Where for Solana? Yeah, same thing. 50% of the trades are profitable. Might not work, but it's giving a long today. Same thing with ETH, might not work, but it's giving a long today. I just don't want to size it so big that it prevents me from doing what I want. So it's the same thing with ETH, 50% profitable. 95% average trade, 39 trades, right? This is showing the first breakout long buy since all the way over here. So I don't love it, but we're going to do it. I want to do it in a way that I'm able to um, why is this not working? No, ATR band's not working. Okay, we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna keep limit orders lower. But here's what we're gonna do. Stop's gonna be down here. It's gonna be at 142, so it's gonna be 50 away. 170 to 142. No, wait. 170 minus 142. 28. I think I want to do just Solana and Bitcoin and maybe not ETH. Because I have this bearish thesis on ETH, right? It's relatively weak compared to Solana and BNB. They do both, but yeah, I like that as a hedge. And maybe put the short hedge on ETH back on as a way to express that. So I think what I'm going to do is for ETH, I'm going to be a seller right here with a stop here, like a really wide trade, targeting the swing low, at least this one, something like that. Solana, we're going to get in. Bitcoin, we're also going to get in. It's kind of working. It needs to be a small position. It's really hard for me because it's a change of environment and I feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I can stick with these. I think that I will. Essentially, it's just like taking a tiny position with a really wide stop is what this would look like. Solana's the one that I like, right? 28. So say I'm willing to risk 500 on Solana. I think I would be willing to risk 750 on Solana actually. So it'd be 25 Solana. Let's do it. $25 long at the market. Okay, so I'm gonna do Sol and BTC, which is gonna be MTP breakout long. TP breakout long. So Solana, I'm gonna open these. I'm gonna leave my shorts for now. I'm gonna try to avoid opening new shorts. So I'm buying the very, very high. But what's protecting me is my stop is very far away. It's beyond the swing low even. So 142 is what it's gonna be. $142. And I'm not gonna have any kind of TP on this one. Okay. I really dislike. I could continue to wait on Bitcoin. I kind of like that. I feel like we're gonna run into overhead. Kind of like it. I'm also late on Bitcoin. And I'm gonna put this ETH short back. 2873. I like it. So now I have some long exposure, but it is a super wide stop, so I'm not gonna necessarily take a loss on it. I think I'm just gonna do the Solana. I like that. I like it. That way I can have exposure to breakout on what looks like the strongest one at this exact moment. Oops. And continue to express my bearishness on ETH. So limit short at 2874 with the stop loss at 3048. So I'm looking at 175, 10. I'll just have like 3 ETH. It'd be a really small position. And I'll target the low here of 2441. Oops. Yeah, my target's gonna be this area 2425. Okay. I like waiting for lower. I like that these are starting to move down. Right, I like not touching any of these. I like not doing the MTP on Bitcoin, just Solana. And then, yeah, keeping my limit strategy. Now I can consider. Uh, I mean, if I do it, I would want it to be really small. I'm gonna try to wait for a liquidation to get in more. Especially I have limits on Bitcoin and the other one. And I'll just have my long on Solana, and I don't see a reason to close these shorts as they're working a little bit. So I guess the question will be, do I want to chase on Bitcoin at all with another limit higher? Yeah, okay. Which would be maybe around 67,400. Is that where I'm already set up? 67,400 would be, Solana's going. If I do it on Bitcoin, I need it to be real small. When's the last time I was even filled on a Bitcoin long? On the 9th, and it was a loss. It was in here. I got out, tried to get in. Didn't get filled here, didn't get filled here, didn't get filled here. So the idea here is if I wanted to chase, I'm seeing this liquidity at 67,400 now. So we have a 1 hour gap there. We have a 4 hour gap there. I could get behind it. So I removed this one because it just seems too far away. So here's what we would do. I would set it in this gap right here. Showing that there's a liquidation here. And right, I would try to hold for all-time highs. Just through the volatility. And then my stop. I'd have the next one. I could also just do it like this with a wider stop and a bigger position, 67.4 to 65. Kind of like it. Yeah, I mean, we're in a trending environment where price might never come back. But again, it's so I like that. I like that. And I like that. What's the other one? This one looks good too. It's just hard to imagine for me. Uh, Maybe bought the top. The thing about the running my stop this way, it just makes it easier. But yeah, this isn't, there's things that are mooning, and I'm not here to just sell something that's mooned. So we'll do that. I do have this B&B lower, which I could easily see this filling. I could consider being a buyer in here. Let's look at B&B too. Okay. Is there a new hotspot? Where am I looking at B&B? Looking under these two wicks at 570. Wait, is it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like being a buyer in here, but we'll say holding. I didn't really have a great reason to hold. And I closed. Sorry, I didn't necessarily have the best reason to hold, to close. So I think I'm gonna leave B&B where it is. And then I'm gonna set Bitcoin like this. And the only question for me is then gonna be how much to risk. Okay, so I've got an ETH short, I've got a BNB long, I've got a Bitcoin long, 64. So I'm gonna long like this on Bitcoin. 67,441 on the 4-hour fair value gap, which also happens to be a major liquidation. So I'm gonna do it at the low of this, and then I already had my stop decided later that um, yeah. Question is, do I want to risk a whole Bitcoin, which would be a $2,000 risk, which is probably more than I want to risk. It's interesting though. 67,472. The stop at 65,390. 65,390. I don't really like having a TP on this. My shorts are kind of dumping. Just waiting has been good. Solana's the strongest one. I could do ETH, I just don't really. I really don't want to do it. I have this thesis on ETH that it's weak. So the last thing is just sizing. So where I'm looking, it's a 1 hour gap. It's below a daily fair value gap. It's below a daily order block. It's in a 4 hour fair value gap. It's in a 1 hour fair value gap. I definitely like it. I'm just trying to get the right risk. 67,472 at 65,377. 65,377. I'm going to start with one. Orders. It's just probably more than I want to risk losing. And if it starts to go, it could easily go. Okay. See if there's anything else I could balance the shorts with. I'm not comfortable adding to these. Doge honestly just did something really bearish. Let me look at Doge again. Money is super high. Open interest. I mean, just now even. Just kind of led by spot buying. I mean, I wouldn't say like what it did was crazy bearish. So if I were to short Doge, I would want to have a long on Bitcoin right now. Well, look, we closed under and we failed at the high. What was the volume up there too? Yeah, I kind of like it, honestly. Pay attention, yo. I don't like it. These are going. Okay. ATR bands. So that at one. Set my stop way up here. Then I could target. Where would I even target? Okay, I need to go to a lower time frame down here. What's my RR looking? I'm at 3.25. It's hard for me to change modes, man. Right? Taking a long time because yeah, this is pretty challenging for me. It's definitely an environment change. We failed right at the high. It's like a way for me to get in at a very high price with a pretty wide stop. I think I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna leave my orders lower. I know people are gonna come in an 8, but got BNB, Solana, just focusing on let me get in on a flush. And if I trade Doge, it's gonna help. So we're gonna do it. We'll do it. Doge. Run my stop. 0.1525%. Is this reckless? I don't know, dude. Funding is so high and open interest has increased so much and spot hasn't really participated. Honestly, it looks pretty good to me. And then we're also got a sell signal and it failed at the highs. And this will allow me to, I know maybe it just doesn't even get filled, but it's going to allow me to run a bigger Bitcoin position. We're going to get some volatility. At some point, this is going to happen. And that's going to mean we're going to have a sharp move down at some point. That's going to be my opportunity. Yeah, the 67 area, 67.4 is looking juicy. Let's get in there. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Doge. Doge be mooning, yo. Um, my shorts are working that I'm in. Solana's holding steady. Okay, Doge, we're gonna do it. I'm short Doge. My stop's gonna be 0.1526. Zero point one five two six. Six. Target is gonna be all the way down here. Where? At 0.12. Okay. And I'm gonna do 15,000 10 times. So 50,000 Doge. I'm late, man. Ready. Well, that seems okay. Oh, we added Doge. These ones. And yeah, I'm gonna wait for some kind of a pullback. I have a large position on Bitcoin here, which might not work, but these shorts should help if that fails. Okay, let's do it. So no Bitcoin along at the market. I'm gonna wait for lower. And the Doge, it follows the rules, so all these ones that say MTP market should be MTP. Um, MTP failed breakout. I'll say peak sell. Okay. We took Doge short, and yeah, I need to. Yeah, I feel good about this decision at the moment of trying for lower, not buying this insane move up when, but taking a little bit of exposure on the strongest one based on something that I can hold on to. I like Solana too because I don't have the limit orders lower, so it's not gonna like, I'm not gonna have any issue where with Bitcoin might, yeah, okay. Doge, Doge could easily just stop me out, but okay. Very difficult session today, but we will stick with it. Bitcoin, grinding higher and higher and higher. Maybe it'll hit this before pulling back here. Yeah, this wide stop on Doge is going to be crucial. Solana's showing a loss, Doge is showing a loss. But it's all small. Okay. It's 4:30, so yeah, this took me longer than I wanted, but we out. That's the plan. Much love.